Welcome to the My Rules Are Better podcast. It's been quite a while, actually. For folks who've listened to Long Funk, you'll know that I've had a few weeks off just working through a bunch of stuff. And one of the curious things that came out of this is 3 books that very similar to actually my time last year when the same thing happened. However, I have 3 very defined books out of this. Firstly is the Field of Chaos, Just Plain Chaos role-playing game, which some folks have played. Barney Dicker and co. Played a few games of it. So it's been played previously. That's going to be a book. Then there's Just Plain Chaos, the book, which is going to be a separate book. And then there's the Field of Chaos Elan's writing, which is particularly interesting because if you take Just Plain Chaos as a kind of, memoir of 3, decades ago, then the Just Plain Chaos the Field of Chaos Elan's writing is exactly the same book, but written in 1992, which is probably finally edited by 1994, but it's of that time frame of writing. And you could start putting the stories together. So if you read Field of Chaos Elan's with Just Plain Chaos, you get basically the same story told slightly differently. So these things are books that are with my friend Craig Wilson, who I wrote or edited Secrets of the Little Blue Box with, which is the book about John Draper Crunch. So he's a guy I've got a lot of time for. And thankfully he's holding the edits of these 3. We're doing various emails backwards and forwards associated with the way that I want them to be presented. But I don't know, I've got about 6 different books just hanging around loosely. So getting these 3 out will be an initial kind of breath of catharsis to actually have these books online again. People will remember that I pulled, well, maybe not. I mentioned this along Funk. I didn't mention this on My Rules Are Better, but people may remember that I pulled Field of Chaos from Amazon, which took me some time just because I didn't like that. So I'm putting out another version of that writing, but from an earlier, rawer, more realistic period. And then we'll just have to see what happens. So for folks who are interested in buying just the Just Plain Chaos role-playing game rules, they're there. Similarly, the Just Plain Chaos writing, and then this Field of Chaos Elan's edition, which is very early writing. Not as many typos as I remember, actually, which probably indicates I haven't read it properly. Anyway, so this is a short podcast, but just some information associated with the stuff I'm working on currently. Don't know when it's going to be out. Got to work through a bunch of things with Craig Wilson to actually get this stuff available online. But it's going to be using Sparts Ingram, which is by now, I think, the definitive way to get things published in the UK. So lots of deep dive with regards to publishing and other thoughts through this, but I'll put that on a future podcast. Tom Bartley in Las Vegas, Nevada, signing out.